I love them. PK, good morning. What's up, buddy? We
Hey,
are
not
live.
much. We're live. Happy Friday.
Yeah, we made it. We made it. How's your week been? You've been recovering from the flu, right?
Yeah, I got hit by it bad this week.
Yeah, it's really bad, man. My both of my girls were home from school this week. One Monday through Wednesday, and the other Tuesday through Thursday. So that threw my week off.
Oh yeah.
But they're back to school today, and I was like excited that I was going to have kind of a predictable normal day, and then I got a call at like 7:45, and it was my oldest girl, and she's like, "Hey, I forgot my laptop,
Oh,
and I forgot all my homework. It's on the counter. Can you come bring it to me? And by the way, I need it before 8."
oh man.
Oh man, I can't catch a break this week.
Super dad to the rescue, man.
Yeah, I know. And then I thought about it. I was like, man, this is what my wife deals with every day. Jeez.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's all
Teamwork.
good, man. Well, yeah, thanks for hopping in here. So we're live on LinkedIn. Thanks to everybody that's popping in here. The purpose of this live, so we've done a couple of these under like the Timely Souls brand over the past couple months, and that's really has been kind of purpose to talk about the watch market, how I'm involved in the watch market, showcasing some of my inventory, and then catching up with my buddy Clint on his own watch stories. This one's a little bit different, and it's kind of on the theme around how I have been, over the past 60 days, made my transition from a W-2 employee to full-time business ownership. And now, with the announcement this week on LinkedIn of the acquisition of watch trading software, which I'm really excited about, I'm just going to kind of tell that story because there's a lot of folks across LinkedIn that are W-2s like me, have passions, hobbies, side hustles, whatever you want to call it, that they kind of dream about taking full time and being a business owner involved in that area. And I still can't believe that I did it and I'm here and I'm living my dream that I've been building for so long now. And so I really just want to inspire anybody that's jumping in that maybe has the same dream or just wants to understand like how the acquisition happened and like the role that you play, PK, in this as well. So hopefully should be pretty cool. And Puneet, yeah, thanks for jumping in, man. I appreciate it. Puneet is actually a client, so thank you, Puneet, for using watch trading software. And I know you're a big watch guy yourself, so great to have you join. And you look so handsome in your bow tie there. Awesome. So before we hop in to like a little bit more about the story, PK, why don't you introduce yourself? I kind of talked a little bit about your role in my post this week, but what are you up to with watch trading software? Tell a little bit of your story. I think it's very fascinating and it will be very interesting to start there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again for having me here on the call. And it's been a crazy journey with watch trading software. I started off originally meeting the founder Guy during a go-kart race. It was a 24-hour go-kart race where we had a team of drivers all together.
Oh, wow.
Each team basically raced over the course of this 24 hours. And some of the drivers, it was their first time ever experiencing something like this. So I was coaching with these teams, helping them get faster, get up to speed. And Guy just impressed me so much during that race. He jumped into it, never had done anything like that before. So it was amazing to see. We really hit it off and connected there. Worked on a couple of other projects together, and he introduced me to the world of watch trading. So started learning about the industry, learning about the business, brokered a couple of deals myself. And then as that started ramping up, Guy had told me about what he was doing with watch trading software and asked me to help him with building this business. So I've always been an entrepreneur. I've been involved in a number of different startups, a number of different industries from all different types of sectors and markets, and getting the chance now to take what I've learned from all these other businesses and help watch traders to systematize their business and scale it into something further has been really a privilege and an honor. And I've met some of the coolest people I've worked with through this company. So it's been an awesome journey, including seeing your journey, Eric. So and now working with you in this capacity is just it's just really really special. So yeah, really glad to be here.
Awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And who knew that 24-hour go-kart races existed? I guess they
Oh
do.
yeah. Oh yeah. Not only that, but one guy that was on the team actually set the Guinness World Record. He did the 24-hour race completely solo by himself, and I think it was about 987 miles that he drove. He was trying to break 1,000, but just right before the end of the race, his chain broke on the engine and it pulled him out of the race. But yeah, he still broke the Guinness record. It was nuts.
Dude, that's crazy.
He actually broke his own record, which was even crazier.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Oh yeah.
Gosh. That's wild. All good. And then just quick like technical check. PK, there's a little bit of a lag in your video when you're talking. So I don't know if there's like an internet connection thing, but I'll if you want to kind of troubleshoot it for a second, feel free to hop out, hop back in. And then, but I'm just going to kind of get started with the story around watch trading software and how you and I got involved with each other, how I got involved with Guy, and then we'll kind of pick it up from there. But so I've been into alternative assets for probably 20 plus years at this point, and it really started with my interest in sports memorabilia. I kind of grew up a big baseball player, a big baseball fan. When I started to get some money in my career, at the start of my career, I really didn't have a lot of interest in trading stocks. I was really bored by the idea of trading stocks. It wasn't interesting to me at all. So I started to put a lot of my money into sports cards and sports memorabilia. And when I met my wife, and she, kind of learned about what I was doing, she was like, all right, this is a waste of money. And by the way, you're a total dork. I had to convince her that these sports cards were actually good preservers of value, and in some cases actually appreciated. So I remember having to convince her when I wanted to spend a lot of money on some other stuff related to sports cards, that if things went as planned, I could actually outperform the S&P 500 benchmark with my sports card and memorabilia investments. And I remember proving that to her, and she was kind of bought in on this idea of like, okay, you don't always have to put your money into stocks and real estate and all that type of stuff. There's alternative ways that you can like preserve your money, and in my opinion, actually have better experiences. So that evolved over time from the sports card stuff, and I'm still into that. By the way, I still collect and put stuff up on my walls, but evolved into exotic cars, and then evolved into luxury watches. Right, so I became an exotic car owner. So I own an Audi R8, and as I started to get more involved in the exotic car communities, that's where I got more involved with the watches. And all these guys had watches. I was learning about their interests in watches. I was learning about the watch market. And I was like, the watch market actually operates a lot like the sports memorabilia market. And that led me to a process of getting involved in an organization called the Watch Trading Academy, where I actually learned a lot of my expertise around the watch market and watch trading itself. And I was invited to an alternative asset summit in Boca Raton to get some like in-person education around alternative assets with a focus and concentration on exotic cars and watches. And that's where I met Guy Solani, right? So like you have a much cooler story of meeting him at a go-kart, 24-hour go-kart race. I met him at, in a warehouse in Boca Raton, kind of walking around with a bunch of cool cars around us.
Well, he was really there just training so that he could be PJ in go-karting. So
yeah, exactly. Although I have another story about that for another time.
Yeah, for sure.
So I met Guy there, and I didn't know him at all, but just kind of networking opportunities, just walk up, introduce myself, like, what are you up to? What am I up to, etc. Learned about his journey as an entrepreneur and a business owner. And I shared my journey and experience as a tech sales guy, and which kind of led him to introduce the idea of like what he was building with watch trading software. And this was about probably 18 months ago at this point. And the idea of like actually using software to manage my watch trading business, which I had been doing for years on spreadsheets, was really exciting to me, because I mean, you understand how a lot of this industry operates, which is like on Excel sheets, in WhatsApp chats, Facebook groups, text messaging. It's not sophisticated whatsoever, but it's still like the secondary market within luxury watches. It's still almost a $40 billion a year market, but it's operating like it's the 1980s. And so this idea of like actually using software like a CRM, like Salesforce, which I was so accustomed to in my tech sales experience, was extremely appealing to me. So I became an early adopter of the software. And I remember, like, honestly, after just using it for a few months, this was the first time I approached a guy about buying the company, or being a big part of the company, or helping to run the company. And I remember this was probably in like, almost a year ago or something like that. And he was like, "No, I'm not really interested. And, like, just keep using the software, like, go knock it out of the park, Eric, maybe later."
Yeah.
So I think kind of the big moment for me that made this acquisition and the ownership of the software, I think, easier than what most folks would go through in an acquisition, is the relationship that I built with Guy, and the relationship I built with you as well, because you were a part of the team from day one. You're the go-to operator for the business, and someone that Guy places a lot of trust in. And I think you and I were able to build a strong relationship, which helped with the credibility with Guy. And then when I built out the automations within watch trading software, which allowed me to nurture my customers, allowed me to run advertising automations, allowed me to automate newsletters, and telling Guy about the success I was having with that. And then his idea to me was like, "Hey, this is brilliant. Let's see about marketing this to the rest of the community," which we did. We packaged it up, and that's where you and I started working together a lot more closely. And we've seen really a good amount of adoption and interest in the package that we built together within watch trading software to automate sales and marketing workflows and automations within a watch trading operation. And it was at about that point that I asked Guy again to, like, "Hey, I'd love to take a bigger role in the organization." He wasn't prepared to like have the acquisition conversation, but he's like, "Why don't you start as an advisor, and let's kind of partner up. Let's co-sell this new marketing and sales operations automation thing that you built out. You can be an advocate in the community for watch trading software," which we did. And within 90 days of me becoming an advisor and leaning into this thing, we saw really strong success, and I think synergy between the three of us in how we work together, and how we not only used the software effectively, but helped others use the software effectively. So then in November, I left my W-2 job, and within a couple days, I called up Guy and I said, "Hey, this happens to be probably the best timing for us to have this conversation again about me taking over watch trading software." And third time is the charm, they say. He was okay with it. He was like, "All right, yeah, let's talk about this thing." And we literally hammered it out that weekend.
Okay.
Over the course of probably like 6 or 7 hours on a Saturday. Like, I was at home, he was at home. We were just chatting back and forth on WhatsApp. We were putting together documents, and we had a letter of intent signed by the end of that weekend, which was pretty wild. So pretty interesting experience. And as I've talked to actually a couple of guys this week from LinkedIn that saw my post about the acquisition, and they were asking me about due diligence and like the relationships with the owner and all that type of stuff. And like, when I shared this story with them, they're like, Eric, that's the best case scenario that anybody could ever expect within an acquisition environment, because you actually have like probably the easiest path to getting something done, because you've got a relationship, you've shown mutual value, and Guy is somebody that is a very easy partner to work with from a business standpoint. And obviously, and he also is staying on as an advisor post acquisition. So he's not going away. He's still going to be a part of the business because he's just as passionate and invested in it as we are.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I still remember our first call together, just seeing your reaction even to how those automations work. You were like, you could actually do this in the watch business, and I was just amazing to see.
It is.
So what would you say was like the what would you say is like the trigger point for you that you were like, all right, this is something I want to actually really become a part of more of my life? And what would you say is your long-term vision with the watch trading software?
Yeah. So for years, I've wanted to go all in on myself and place a big bet on myself and get out of the W-2 world, right? For years, I was thinking about that all the way back to probably like the early to mid 2010s, right? I mean, it's been a long time that I've had this passion about going all in, proving to myself that I can actually sustain and build a more exciting lifestyle for myself and my family based on my talents and my ability to nurture and build the talents of those around me, and to be responsible for the operation. And so this is something that, my wife, getting her on board with this whole process was probably the most important thing, frankly.
Of
And,
course.
and if I had come to her one day and just been like, "Hey, honey, I want to buy this software company," or "Hey, honey, I want to run a watch trading business," without any conversation prior to that, it would have been a hard no. Like, "Are you crazy? I might consider divorcing you." Right? But it's kind of like the boil the frog metaphor, where I've been sharing my passion for wanting to do this for more than a decade with her, to the point where she's just like kind of annoyed by it. She's like, "Just go do it, Eric, and stop talking to me." And so she was a big supporter, and actually always encouraged me to diversify from just the watch trading business into something else. She's like, "Eric, you have a lot of talent within software and sales and like consulting. If you want to do the watch trading thing, that's cool, but you also should like diversify into something else as well." Right. So she was encouraging me to be like a sales coach, um, or sales consultant. And so that was kind of an area that she was pushing me into. But then as things started to gain a lot of traction with the watch trading software, I kind of raised the idea of like, well, hey, what if I ran like a software business for watch trading? And she was very supportive of that. Right. I think we also both have a very like strong faith in God, and we prayed a lot about it as well. And the way that the events were lining up, it was very perfect timing. And it was like, this is his timing. This is what we've been praying for. This is very exciting. We're seeing it all come together. And I think that also was something that gave her, kind of calmed her soul around the whole decision of like leaving a big W-2 job, right? Like running, enterprise sales for a tech company, the great company, great pay, great benefits, and just walking away from it, right? And being like, I don't want to go back into that world, right?
Yeah.
I'm literally burning every bridge behind me. And so the success that I was having with the software, the ability to kind of bring her along over the course of like 10 plus years, the success I was having watch trading as well, and documenting that experience with her was really what allowed me to take the whole sequence of events and line it up perfectly to, go from being fired to being a founder in terms of this business ownership thing. And it's like no regrets, no looking back. Very excited about the journey that we have ahead of us, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And a lot of that has to do with our partnership, PK, too, man.
Yeah, 100%. So everything you just talked about is so cool, because one of the best concepts I learned was from a famous founder from Lazy Boy. His name was Nito Kubain, and he talks about intentional congruence. So building a lot of your businesses and passions where they don't take away the time from your family or from yourself, but actually feed more into what you're doing and living your life to its fullest. So it's great to see how you've built that congruence in your life and in your businesses. So, and I get one more question I have for you. What kind of impact has this business made on your community? I know that you've done a lot of really cool stuff locally, and you have a lot of cool guys working for you now as well. So it's just amazing to see all of that.
Yeah, yeah. So I live in a town called Vincennes, Indiana. It actually used to be the state capital of Indiana, but that was a couple hundred years ago. It's kind of one of those, cities in the Midwest that thrived in the Industrial Revolution, thrived in even kind of the agrarian agricultural period of the U.S. after its founding. It was like a major waypoint for those that were moving west, like the Lewis and Clark expedition. Kind of had like a stop here on the way to St. Louis. I mean, like very, very big center of commerce for hundreds of years, and as a result, it was the state capital. But as the Midwest, rusted, if you will. A lot of jobs and a lot of companies left this town, and there's still kind of a university here, a small like kind of JUCO, but offers 4-year program and some post grad stuff, but relatively small university, and then there's a hospital in the town that are kind of the core centers within the town. But we're about 16,000 people, but for the most part, it's like very impoverished area. One of the bright spots one of the many bright spots in this town is that we do have a business innovation center, like a co-working space called the Pantheon. That as I moved here from Boston, I found it and I started co-working there with like my tech job, and then I actually kind of founded my watch business out of the Pantheon with some of their help. And that's where I met a lot of people that were influential in helping me build out a team here locally. And where I've really kind of concentrated my efforts is hiring kids like out of high school, or maybe in the local college programs here, that are entrepreneurial, have a strong like sense of purpose, motivated. And I found them through like participating in different career programs and networking at the Pantheon, to where I've got a core team of guys that are, they're like 19, 20 years old, but they have the right mindset. And like what I do in the watch business, it's not complicated, right? It's really just about details. And I have invested a lot of time to coach these guys to pay attention to the details and understand why the details matter. And they have helped me scale my operation significantly. And without them, I wouldn't be here. But it's also, for me, really important to attract these type of kids into my business, because so many of them leave our community when they graduate, because they don't have the type of jobs here that they would envision for themselves. For example, like the number one employers in the area are coal mines, cornfields, or hospitality, right? It's like, if you don't want to go do that, you leave. And there's a lot of people that don't want to do that, and they go to Indianapolis or they go somewhere else. my mission, part of my mission here for Timely Souls and for the watch trading software locally is to bring to keep this talent within the town.
Yeah.
And that's really important to me. And I know you've met some of these guys when you visited recently, and I think you'll have a chance to meet some of them again later this next week when you come down. But that's it's like really important to me as a business operator within this community to keep that talent here and to be able to attract it with something that's exciting.
Yeah, sure. And it's very rewarding on our side, on the WTS side, to have been part of that growth, to have been able to enable that for you as an entrepreneur on the trading side. So to be a part of that with hundreds of other subscribers to our platform and be able to offer them those tools that help them free up their time and create more opportunities around them. I mean, the ripple effects in every single community is pretty insane when you think about it. So
It is.
Yeah, it's just it's humbling on my side to be a part of all this. So, and to hear your story.
Yeah, likewise, man. Likewise. I mean, I'm humbled by the energy and the effort that the team around me puts into the business, because everyone's so talented. They could go off and do something else, but kind of choose to invest where I am and where we are, which is extremely humbling as well. So, so PK, one of the most interesting things about you, and you kind of alluded to this in your introduction, was you're in this like racing sphere, right? So like exotic car, instructor, exotic car racing, like 24-hour go-kart, like Le Mans type of thing, right? So how does your experience with like being an exotic car driving coach, right? Like how does that translate into what you do with watch trading software, and like what are some of the opportunities that you see to even kind of combine both in the future?
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge question, and the something I didn't mention earlier, like you said, I work with Extreme Experience as a driving instructor, where I sit in the passenger seat and help coach our drivers, our customers, around the racetrack in our supercars. So we let our customers drive these supercars like Porsches, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, the Corvette Z06, which is one of my favorites. We let these customers drive them at essentially full speed. The instructor is there to keep you safe, to make sure that you have a great time driving those cars. And as long as you do really follow what the instructor says, I think that most people will go faster out there than they thought they could go. So you get the chance to really experience what these supercars are all about. And it's funny because there's a lot of people who own these supercars, but they never get the chance to really drive them the way they're meant to be driven.
Mm-hmm.
And it translates into not necessarily knowing how to drive them. And I see a lot in business. A lot of people, they'll buy all these tools, buy all this technology that they want to use in their business, but they don't really know how to quite use it. So it's funny, I was thinking about this the other day, but sitting in the race and coaching somebody around the racetrack in this supercar, I'm trying to help guide them on how to use this tool most effectively so that they can get the most out of their experience. And in the watch trading software side, I'm almost guiding a customer of ours in the same way so that they can get the most out of the tools that they're using from us. So because technology, it can be complicated for a lot of people. That whole process of going through and understanding it's necessary, but sometimes people just need a little bit help learning that and understanding it. So it's been awesome to be able to do both and blend both of those worlds together. Like I mentioned before, intentional congruence. I've had a lot of our clients from watch trading software come out to the racetrack, join me on track, drive some of these incredible supercars, test drive them before they go out and actually buy them as well. So it's been a cool experience there. And I really think that experiential marketing is just the way to go. If you can get a chance to do something really cool with your clients, if you can do something memorable, build a closer connection with them, you'll find more ways to do business and work closer together. So it's been fun to bring both of those together and really see the similarities in both, actually.
It's awesome, man. Um, I think it's a really good point that you bring up because, for me, the software made a lot of sense because I've lived in CRM software for my career. But for a lot of the guys that we work with, it's new, right? And it's kind of similar to the cars that, the exotic cars that a lot of these guys will buy, including me. Like when I was a first time owner, I didn't really understand at all how to drive it. I knew how to like go in a straight line and like punch the gas, and that was it. But I didn't
Yeah.
understand how to drive it. Actually, I went to the Central Indiana Porsche Club of America, to the Putnam Park course, to actually learn how to drive it, and that's where I
Yeah.
did learn how to drive it. That was an amazing experience. Uh, but with the software, a lot of these guys, a lot of our clients don't understand it. And so you've got to sit in, riding shotgun with them to help guide them. And one of the things that you and I have been working on for quite a bit for the past 60 days is, onboarding videos, onboarding materials, getting, trying to simplify this like adoption process so that the value out of the product can be realized for our clients. And, it's a lot of the same stuff that I was doing in the tech sales world in terms of supporting adoption and retention and, simplifying customer experience and support and training programs. That has made a lot of sense to me as I've come over, in the same time, like with your exotic car coaching experience, helping somebody take a tool that's very powerful, and get comfortable with it. And as you noted, like, realize the full potential of that tool or that car, beyond maybe what they were imagined or initially comfortable with.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And
Yeah.
it's great to see then how after you've worked with somebody and shown them how to use those tools, that they can get so much out of the platform. Like just hearing from some of our clients, seeing the posts that they make online of the results getting, using not just the software, but like the virtual assistant service that we offer is huge. So
That's
yeah,
right.
we got some exciting things that we're going to be doing here in this next quarter.
We do. Yeah. We do have a rebrand coming up, which is very exciting because watch trading software is not just software. It's actually a services package with the virtual assistant, as you mentioned, the sales and marketing automation service. We have a great partner in Opus and Company for website design and branding. We've got a couple other services that I know you and I are working on that we're going to be rolling out. And I think this rebrand is going to be really exciting, to, kind of bring to the market a refreshed name around watch trading software that reflects what it is, which is, a portfolio of services to help a watch trader, track more retail clients, better margins, more broker business, which is what everybody wants to get right now in this trade.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. Well, we're just over 30 minutes. This has been a really good chat. I think we can just cut it there. Thanks for everybody that's kind of hopped in. Thanks for the comments. I really appreciate it. We're going to continue to document this journey on LinkedIn, right? I think this is something really special that we're building here. Your involvement, the W-2 transition, a niche market with niche specific software, that is, squarely fitting into a $70 billion annual turnover watch industry. Really interesting stuff. So I'm looking forward to being, a big part of the LinkedIn community as we share this, and excited to be doing this in partnership with you, PK. It's a real pleasure. And thanks again for hopping on today and talking about your journey and what we're doing here at WTS.
Likewise, Eric. Thank you so much for having me, and looking forward to the next one as well. Thank you, everybody here at LinkedIn.
You got it. All right. See you later. Bye.
See you guys.